right? We'll talk about a woman who does hair in her home. Let's talk about the write-offs. If I talk on the phone to my clients, guess what? My cell phone bill is a write-off. Boom. My next thing is, guess what? I use a third of my house as my office where I do hair. Take a third of your rent, and guess what? That right there is a write-off. I gotta advertise. You're able to write off the you're doing on Facebook and Instagram. If the name of my business is Barber Beauty Salon, and I just get some new clothes, no matter what it is, I put Barber Beauty Salon on it, write-off. You can buy a new yacht and wrap that in Barber Beauty Salon. My whole yacht is a write-off.
Pull up in the drive light. I didn't mix my with Fago. Stack my money up like Legos.
What's up, world? It's your boy Brandon Copeland, aka Professor Cope, and I'm here with my dog, my boy Ross Mack. What's good, baby? How you feeling, dog?
Man, I'm feeling amazing, bro. But I'm loving the hoodie you got on, bro.
Hey,
you got the Black Wealth Matter hoodie. That you had to get that from like Barney's or Nordstrom's. Where you get that from, my boy?
Listen, man, this was actually in the Gucci store. I was in the Gucci store. I was like, ooh, I saw this joint. I had to swipe it. I had to go into the dressing room, pop the tag on it one time. Yo, I ain't condoning it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta stay true to your
the roots.
No, stay true to yourself, man. Stay true to them Baltimore roots. Through the wire, aka the wire.
Can't say we changed. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man. Listen. So I want to dive right in today, man, because I think one of the things that I've seen as I've gotten more ingrained in the world of business is this thing that I like to call a little cheat code.
What's the cheat code?
I've seen people, people talk about LLCs. People talk about, I'm a business owner. I own this, I own that. I'm an entrepreneur, blah, 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 right? And what I've been finding, what I've found, and I'm actually starting to really, really tap into and unlock the full potential of, is utilizing my LLC. We got a few of them bad boys now.
LLCs.
Utilizing the LLCs to their fullest potential. And we'll dive into what an LLC is, which is a limited liability company, right? Simply put, it's to protect or to limit your liability as a business owner. So if I'm selling red Solo cups, boom. But, I own this business. Cheers, my brother. I got this business in the LLC. Somebody's red Solo cup cracks on them, right? It's got the little crack. It gives them a paper cut. They bleed out. They die. Well, you got to sue that Red Solo Cup LLC. You can't sue Brandon Copeland because that's the LLC's business. That's not me. I ain't got nothing to do with that, right? Now, there are certain stipulations if you pierce the corporate veil, meaning if I'm sitting there basically dipping in, I'm purchasing things for the Red Solo Cup business with my personal card and stuff like that, then now my personal assets can also be potentially pulled into that suit. But a LLC is to limit your liability. Simple business structure to actually set up. You got your biggest businesses and companies in the world sometimes are in an LLC business format, right? But the thing that's the real cheat code is how some people use the LLCs to sponsor their lifestyles.
All right, I'm sorry for interrupting, but look, I need you to follow and subscribe and share this with everybody so we can keep this whole money, music, culture thing going.
That is the cheat code. Because
Thanks.
When you make money through your LLC, or even when you make money personally, it doesn't really matter how you make money, right? But when you are putting expenses through your LLC, I had to travel to New Orleans for Essence Fest. I had to travel to New York for a speaking engagement. I had to travel to Atlanta for a shoot. When I'm putting all of those expenses on my LLC, those are now business expenses, and therefore they're deductions from my gross income for the year, or the LLC's gross income or revenue for the year. if I am purchasing those same expenses or those same trips, for example, with my personal card, I've basically, depending on your tax bracket, but I'm going to talk about me, I basically paid for it twice, because in order for me to purchase $1,000 ticket anywhere, that means I had to make $2,000. I get taxes taken from it, which 50%. And now I've been able to pay for that ticket with $1,000. However, if I purchase it under my LLC, yeah, I still had to make the money to be able to purchase it and to afford it, right? Or it would never even go through. But ultimately, if I made $100,000 this year, now I purchased this $1,000 ticket because it's a business expense on my LLC, which is ultimately a deduction that is deducted from my overall income for the year. So now instead of making $100,000, I've really made $99,000 to the IRS. In a better example, or an example that probably really moves the needle for people, I made $100,000 this year, and now my LLC has business expenses of $50,000 this year. All the trips that I went on for business, disclaimer, for business, all of the dinners that I had, the company retreats that I sponsored on that business, all the things that I was probably going to do anyway are now on that business. And so now, instead of it looking like I made $100,000 this year, because I spent $50,000 in business expenses on my LLC, now to the IRS, it looks like I made $50,000 this year. And guess what? I am only able to be taxed on that $50,000 in income. The life still stayed the same. The lifestyle didn't change. But the way I was taxed just was changed. The way I was taxed was just changed dramatically. And that, my friend, is the cheat code.
Yes, sir.
When you think about LLCs, or when you think about business expenses or anything like that, right? Because black wealth matters, and in order for it to matter, we got to make sure we keep as much of it as possible.
You better know it.
Are there any things that you think should be highlighted when we talk about this cheat code specifically?
Yeah, you know what want to be highlighted? This is the oldest trick in the book. And this is why Donald Trump was able to go bankrupt not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7 times. Damn! And still be, at the time, one of the richest men in the world and end up being able to be president, right? And the reason is because you're able to, right? The reason you open an LLC is to separate your personal assets from your business assets. So Donald Trump starts an LLC, right? Let's talk about it on some big boy shit. Then we're going to come down and talk to it on how you yourself can effectively finesse the same shit, right? On some big boy shit, Donald Trump, like, yo, I'm Donald Trump. I own 8 of these Trump hotels and golf resorts. Boom, I want a new business loan for $250 million. Boom, we start construction, recession happens. Oh, well, shit. We ran out of money. Hey, bank, I need another loan. Man, I can't give you no more loans. All right, well, f it. I'm bankrupt. You hear that? That's me wiping my hands clean of this shit. Boom, Donald Trump files bankruptcy. Unfortunately, right? And I'm not saying it's that clean, right? But what I'm telling you is that the creditors in that instance who loaned him $250 million cannot come after his personal assets because he's protected by having an LLC, right? He's protected by law that his personal assets will not be able to be came after, right? Sure, he can lose the assets of the LLC that was owned, but the thing when it comes to an LLC, you got to understand it's a cheat code because in the way Cope was actually saying, you get to lower your overall gross revenue, right?
Your taxable income.
Exactly. At the end of the day, the name of the game is to make as much money and pay the least amount on taxes. Making more, spending less on taxes, keeping more in your pocket, right? And so when it comes to LLCs, what you really want to understand is these are the expenses I needed to make money in my business, right? And I recommend you do it because you'll understand this would be a very small investment for a long-term gain. And think of it like this, right? I know y'all seen it go viral once when they was like, yo, some shit went viral and the dude was like, man, don't buy your girl a new Louis bag, buy a LLC, right? And some people like, fuck out of here. LLC costs $150, but that Louis bag costs $1,000 or $2,000, whatever, right? And so they're like, it don't make sense. But LLC works if you know how to make it work, right? So imagine you are a person, right? And we all coming out of work from home. We all coming out of COVID lockdown, right? Let me tell you how you really do this, right? Here's the cheat codes, right? You might want to motherfucker pull your pants up, ladies, tighten your bras. We finna get this motherfucker going, right?
Oh, he talking greasy.
Drop a bomb, right? And so when it's all said and done, you feel me, fellas, let your nuts hang. We're going to really show you how to get this bag because I learned this from a white guy that I worked with. What he told me was, bro, you start an LLC and everything you do in order to make money now becomes a write-off. The name of the game is to pay the government the least amount of money. Everybody understands that, but people that are working. And let me help you understand that. The tax code in America is built for business owners, not employees. Business owners get to literally write off everything. And once again, Cope said it best. If I make $100,000 and I can write off $40,000, $50,000. He said 50, right? Mm-hmm. If I make $100,000 and I can end up writing off $50,000, that means to the taxes, I really only made $50,000. That means I really am in a whole different tax bracket. That means I'm really not paying that nearly as much in taxes as I would have. And that's the name of the game. So your employer, who you work for, your W-2 employer is writing your salary off. Oh, yeah, time and a half, cool. But I made more money, cool. Yeah, I paid him $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Guess what? I'm writing it off. Boom. And once you start understanding that, that is the name of the game. And so once you look at it, there are so many different forms of write-offs that make it. So dig this. If you're a person, right, who got a side hustle, mine was music, Cope's might be real estate, or this podcast, for instance, right? We both on the pod, right? Understand this. There are a lot of expenses that you need as a business owner. So dig this. Once again, it only costs $150 to enact it, right? You know, holler at your accountant, et cetera. But when it's all said and done, right, your lifestyle becomes a write-off, right? Boom. Right? Oh, I need advertisement in order to, boom, we got Black Wealth Matters merch, or I do nails, I do hair out of my home, right? We'll talk about a woman who does hair in her home. Forget the merch, because that's a whole nother thing, right? Suppose I do hair in my home. Let's talk about the write-offs. Boom. If I talk on the phone to my clients, guess what? My cell phone bill is a write-off.
Yep.
So if I pay $250, we just call it $200 a month, right? In a full year, that's $2,400. Boom, that's a write-off. So remind you, we the name of the game. I had revenue, but I want to write it off so I can pay the least amount on taxes. And what we mean by write-offs is saying take what you made, W-2s plus, what else you made on your side hustles, and subtract all of your expenses, which are qualified write-offs, right? So boom, my phone bill, we subtracting $2,400. Boom, my next thing is, guess what? I do hair out of my house. Okay, my rent $1,500, but I use, my rent $1,500, but I use a third of my house as my office where I do hair, right? You know what I mean? They say like on Baby D on next Friday, she sell dope, babysit, and do hair at the same house. They don't know when to kick the dough down, right? On bro. So you doing hair at your house, ladies. You use a third of it, right? Because they got to use your bathroom. You doing hair in your living room. That's really taking up a third of your house. So guess what? If your rent is $1,500, take a third of your rent. And guess what? That right there is a rental expense. It is a qualified write-off. So once again, $1,500, take a third of that. That means $500. You get to write off your taxes. Once again, $500.
Hey, I need to make my own ad lib.
For 12 months.
When you going like this, boy, I need to make my own ad lib, boy. You spitting gems right now. Basically, treat yourself like the Fortune 500 company. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna Kanye West you real quick. Treat yourself like the Fortune 500 company. Value yourself. This is major right here, right? Like this is how you finance your life. right? Like you said, you can deduct those expenses. You're in a lesser tax bracket, so you're taxed at a lower rate, excuse me. But then you also are still doing all the things you're gonna do regardless.
1000%.
Why would you not?
We gonna get to the fun.
Keep going.
We're gonna get to the fun.
My bad.
But in order to live,
Khaled. Keep going.
In order to live, you got to live in a house. Boom. So we writing off $500 a month. That is $6,000 a year. So we said $2,000 for phone bill, $6,000 for rent. Let's keep it going. Boom. So that right there, that's goddamn it, eight grand. It's a lot of money. When you start understanding that, that's where your real refunds come in. But we're gonna keep talking. Or you're paying less, or whatever, right? If you're a W-2 employee and you got a side hustle, that's when the real big refunds check in. So boom. So we writing off our phone bill, we're writing off our rent. Guess what? I gotta advertise, right? You put some on Facebook, right? You're able to write off the shit you're doing on Facebook and Instagram, right? Just say that's $100 a month or whatever, right? You're buying ads and you posting shit. Ooh, that's $1,200. Guess what? Your uniform. If the name of my business is Barber Beauty Salon and I just get some new clothes, no matter what it is, designer, I put Barber Beauty Salon on it. You can buy, in this real big money, I can buy a new yacht and wrap that in Barber Beauty Salon. My whole yacht is a write-off. Shout out, what's my dog name? He do 10 times. Oh, what's folks' name? White boy. He mad cool. The name of his business is 10X. It'll come to me.
Oh, Grant Cardone.
Bro bought a whole yacht,
Cardone,
50 M's as a
game.
write-off.
Grant,
we're
we
going
need
to talk
you on
about
the show,
this.
man.
On God. Once again, ladies, tighten up your wigs. Ladies, tighten up your wigs. And fellas, let your nuts hang. And goddamn it, spray some old Beijing in. We're going to let it go. So what we saying is that there's so many qualified write-offs. Guess what? Your uniform is a write-off. If you need to wear suits in order to make money, guess what? Your dry cleaning bill is a write-off. If me and Copeland are business partners with Money Music Culture, which we are, guess what? Anytime we go out to dinner and we're talking about money, music, culture, it is a f***ing write-off.
On the business.
Let me say that again. Hey, Cope, guess what, man? How about you take your family and I take my family? Let's go to let's go to Jamaica. Let's go to let's say some more lavish. Let's go to Fiji. Let's go to Fiji for the week. We need to have a money, music, culture retreat.
Yes, sir.
That sounds like a $15,000, $20,000 all-in type of shit, right? Hey. Guess what? We're subtracting our income by $20,000 because what? It was a business expense. It was a retreat. It is a business meeting. It was a owner's health and wellness trip. Retreat. It don't matter. That right there. Anytime we go out to eat, we not talking Subway. We ain't talking about Chick-fil-A. We have 5-star. You know what I'm saying? That right there is a write-off. We're having a business meeting over dinner. So at the end of the day, right, not only do you look at it and saying, if, God forbid, something goes wrong, right? And this could be a whole nother episode on actually establishing business credit to actually get loans to your business. That's a whole nother episode. Because we 20 minutes in or something. I ain't gonna need. We need bro. I got the perfect guy, my nigga. Him 500. He hard. But we could keep. It don't matter though. But that being said, I don't want to lose track. But what I want you to do, once again, ladies, make sure your lashes is still on. Fellas, brush your hair one time. You know what I'm saying? If your jewelry fake, please tuck it because we talking real cloth talk. What we're saying right now is that this is a cheat code, and I promise you, black people didn't know about this until this new social media age when everybody started sharing stuff. But once again, people don't really understand how it works because one of my homies was teaching me, who's in a phenomenal. Actually, I got the actual. Well, him is hard, but I got another guy who's actual accountant who's pretty hard. He's from Chicago, Carter Cofield. He like, bro, right now. So dig this. I could go on a trip right now to Hawaii. But it's so as long as I go to a business meeting. So suppose me and the homies trying to go out for the whole weekend, right? And we going to Hawaii. So as long as I go attend the meeting for about an hour on Friday and an hour on Monday, the IRS, the U.S. tax code, right, allows me to travel and stay in a hotel for both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think Monday as well. But think about that, bro. This is how people are genuinely playing within the system. I'm not even going to say cheat the system, because we all know the system is not for us to win. But what I will say is that to play within the system, right? We ain't talking about, you know what I'm saying, playing in the NFL. That's a different type of game. But right now, this is a game that we all can play. Only thing you don't need no freakish athletic ability. All you need is knowledge. And most importantly, all you need to do is subscribe to Money Music Culture, because what we're saying is, literally, right? And I don't want to get into, because we give it too much free game. I know motherfuckers who pay $5,000, well, I'm sorry, charge 5 racks alone to tell you what we tell them, but this is real, right? And so understanding that LLCs is not only just something to separate your personal assets from your business assets, because that is real. Once again, Donald Trump is successfully bankrupted companies 7 times, and he's still rich as motherfucker don't become president and not having a true bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he ain't going to give you his tax. People, it was a joke. It was a joke that a motherfucker said, oh, Trump not going to show us his tax returns. It might have been Bernie Sanders' ass. And I'm agnostic. I don't give a fuck who you vote for, right? I think the joke was Trump not going to show us his tax returns, because we're going to see he's no longer a billionaire. I honestly think bro don't want to show you his tax returns because he don't pay taxes. See, the thing is, when you start learning how this world works, he has so many assets, he has so much money that he figured out a way to write off everything. And I didn't learn, and I don't want to keep rambling. I'm gonna let Cope take it for a second. But game, like one thing I learned was that the only time writing off is a bad thing is when you want to show to, creditors, aka, trying to buy a home, that I actually have made money. So it's one thing to say, yo, I made $500,000, but I had $450,000 in expenses, so I only made $50,000, right? Like, nah, bro, you don't see that top line. I made half a ticket, bro. What you mean? Yeah. They're like, no, bro, you're paying taxes on $50,000. That's as much as we can say that you're worth for buying a home. So what I will say, right, and here's the real game once again. So as long as you have your LLC for 5 years, right now, generally speaking, if you were to try to get a mortgage, what the creditors are going to do, right, whatever bank you try to get your loan through, they're going to take the average of your last 2 years on tax returns. But if you are a LLC owner, and it's been operating for 5 years and it's in good standing, you could literally just take your just 1 year, your last year, right? And so imagine year 4, right? Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. You like, man, all that, I ain't paying no taxes. Boy, I only made $40,000, $30,000. But come year 5, you're like, oh, you only gonna take 1 year? God, I'll pay some taxes. Yeah, I made $150 this year. Cool. Give me this big house. You know what I'm saying? I made $200,000 this year. Give me this $1 million crib. But you know what I'm saying? And that's the goal. But just understand that it is, when it's all said and done, creditors be looking like, oh, I get you, if you say you're not making no money, my guy, I can't extend to you no credit. But, and what's crazy is I know, Cope, how many LLCs you got? You got about 12, don't you?
I got a few. I got about 7 or 8 right now. I moved through these LLCs, but I think, so one, first and foremost, you never rambling, you giving game, bro. And that's the beautiful thing about this is we giving our experiences. We ain't talking about some shit that we ain't doing, right? Legally, legal hustles, right?
Oh God.
2, this will be a totally different episode, right? So I won't even get into it now because y'all know how I get. Y'all been watching the show. Y'all know how I get. I go down the rabbit hole. I want to give too much game in this one episode. We'll do it in a different episode. But in real estate, that LLC is extremely important, but also separating your different assets between LLCs is extremely important as well, too, because if something happens in one house, right? Somebody's on the roof trying to fix it up in one house, but you got a LLC with 8 different cribs. They slip and fall off that roof and they trying to sue. Then now all of your whole empire is subject to that lawsuit.
Down.
Exactly.
You
So
can't stand the rain.
facts. So there's a lot of investors that I know specifically who have a new LLC for every single property they do. A lot of times it's the LLC address. The LLC name, excuse me, is the home address or the home street name or something like that, right? But I just want to sprinkle a little bit of, you know, that powdered sugar on top. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do the salt like Salt Bae. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do the powdered sugar on top, right? So just to make sure we give y'all the full game, I'm going to give you 21 small business tax deductions that you need to know, right? I'm going to go ahead and shout out the Nerd Wallet since I'm going to go ahead and shout you out since I'm reading off of your list. 21 that you need to know, right? I'm not going to explain them all.
We need a check, shorty.
Yeah, facts.
Ain't as
facts.
nice as Coke. We need a check, shorty.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? But I was excited. They got the older black woman up here as the picture right here. You see her? You know, so you know I wanted to go ahead and shout them out for that. All right, one, startup and organizational costs, right? So these are your logistics, right? These things are important to you actually getting your business started. As Ross said, investing in yourself. Inventory, Black Wealth Matters, hoodies, right? We need to store these bad boys up so that we can ship them out to people. Utilities, you doing hair in your home. That electric bill, I need some of that. That's the business. That Wi-Fi, I need some of that. That's a business expense. Stuff you were going to use anyway. Insurance. Yeah, one thing I will say, when you get insurance through an LLC or through a business, it's going to be more expensive. But that's, you know, the price you got to pay sometimes. Business property rent, auto expenses. We're going to talk about that next. Rent and depreciation on equipment and machinery. One of the reasons why Trump and Grant Cardone, they are so much into real estate, and one of the reasons why a lot of wealthy people talk about real estate is because they write off the depreciation of the buildings and the assets. So you could be making a bunch of money, but then the building has depreciated in value, so you deduct all of that depreciation or a portion of that depreciation every single year until you can deduct no more, which ultimately affects your taxable income. Office supplies, office furniture, software subscription, advertising and marketing, business entertainment, right? So when my rookie year, when my agent was taking us out to the club, the night before the draft, we was in there with Jeezy and Ludacris and Ray Rice. Shout out to my boy Ray. You know, this is before the incidents and stuff. Shout out to my boy Ray. He's still, you know, we all forgive.
No comment.
Who am I to judge? We got Adrian Peterson. We got all these people. My agent writing it all off. Bottles, everything, food, everything. Writing the whole trip off. You know what I'm saying? Interest, travel expenses, bad debt, employee salaries, as you touched on. You are an investment, right? If I'm running up and down the field on that kickoff return, guess what? You an investment. I'm paying you X, but I'm making back Y, right? I'm keeping the spread. You're an investment. And if I'm losing, it is what it is. It's my side hustle. I'm the owner. It's my side hustle. It's going against my other taxable income. Employee benefit programs.
But the thing is that they not losing. No NFL owner. I'm sorry to cut in. No professional team owner is losing. Maybe I don't know what NHL like, but when it comes to NBA, MLB, and the NFL, they got them revenue sharing type of thing. So if you in the blackout, if you a team in a blackout market like the weak ass, maybe Jaguars, the Browns used to be the blackout, meaning that none of your games are televised because you're not really getting no television bread. Well, you're gonna share in like an owner's pool to make sure y'all making bread. But all right, Cope, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you 100% right. And that's, I mean, that also just talks
them
to the business strategy.
Hey, long story short,
the business
they
strategy.
A lot.
We're going to black out the games. We're not going to put the games on TV, so we encourage y'all to come and show up to the game so y'all don't spoil it. Y'all don't deal with the spoiler alert, so to speak. That's cold business. Employee benefits programs, employee gifts.
Retirements. That's what you're talking about right there.
Education assistance.
Employee match. Hold on, though. I'm sorry, Cole. Employee benefits. When your job, you like, oh, my God, I got good benefits, girl. Bitch, I get 5% match on my 401k, and I get good health care. Guess what? You're a write-off. That shit don't matter to them, boy. They just lowering their tax bracket.
Facts.
But keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you 100% right. Employee gifts.
I tell
That's
my
your
girl I've never
bonuses.
been wrong. I can't remember a time I've been wrong. So when you say that, I just gonna make sure she watched this episode 10 times.
Say no
You
more. We
100%
cut that
right.
up.
I've never been wrong.
Right, we'll cut that up for her. You know what I'm saying? We cut that up for you so you can have
The
that
only
joint play on.
episode. You 100% right.
Play
You're
on the road.
100% right.
Contracted labor, independent contractors, legal and professional fees, right? You got that lawyer giving you legal advice. All of that's a write-off, right? That agent, that accountant. So that's one thing I wanted to highlight. Go check out those things to make sure you are maximizing your deductions. For all those small business owners out there, make sure you're maximizing your deductions. For all the non-business owners out there, if you look at your life and you think, hey, I can find some value here, make sure you're maximizing your deductions. The final thing I want to touch on is one of the reasons why you see so many people driving certain vehicles.
Talk to him, Colt.
I used to be like, God dang, everybody got an Escalade. Everybody got a G-Wagon. What the?
Everybody.
I'm in the league. How come I can't? Why can't I? I'm sure I can afford it. Why can't I do it? Oh.
That's what they
you-
doing.
You
Colt,
that's
preach to him, 'cause
over-
this one
that's
right
over
here, my guy.
6,000 pounds. All right, so
Yes, sir.
so when it comes to vehicle expenses and deductions, ultimately, if you have a vehicle that is above 6,000 pounds, then it qualifies for being able to write off the depreciation as being able to write off the cost and depreciation as a deduction or business expense. Now, similar to what Ross said, all of these things, like you can't just go to dinner and just chill, right? You can't just go to your retreat, that company retreat in Jamaica, and just literally be out in Jamaica. But I know a few people, for example, that took a trip as friends and said, hey, you know what? While we're down here, I'm going to offer my business service to you, and you offer your business service to me so that we can write this whole trip off, right? Going to a great spot, beautiful spot. I'm happy for them, right? But that is the name of the game. That's the cheat code. Live your life, but live it strategically. Play chess, not checkers, right? So when it comes to these vehicles that are above 6,000 pounds, man, I got a big family. I need a truck anyway, right? They have to be used for more than 50%. The vehicle has to be used more than 50% for your business, right? But let's go through some of the cars that are above 6,000 pounds, right? This list is a little old, but the cars are the same. You know, they just make the newer models, right? And you probably gonna start looking around on the road like, hold up, damn, I wonder. It's going to make you think about things differently. You're gonna be like, are you writing this off or not? Are you really taking advantage of this, or are you paying for it out your pocket? So you got the Audi Q7, you got the BMW X5, the BMW X5, the X5 X Drive, whatever, the BMW X6 series, you got the Buick Enclave, you got the Cadillac Escalade, you got the Cadillac XT5, you got the Cadillac Escalade Hybrid. All of them above 6,000 pounds. You got all the Chevy Silverados. You got the Suburban. You got the Tahoe. You got the Traverse. You got the Chrysler Pacifica. Got the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid if you're trying to save a little bit of bread on that gas. Dodge Durango, Dodge Caravan, Ford Expedition, Ford Explorer, Ford F-150, Ford Flex, the GMC Acadia, Sierra, Yukon, the Honda Pilot, Honda Odyssey, the Infiniti QX80, Infiniti QX56, Jeep Grand Cherokee, Range Rover. You see a lot of Range Rovers. Discovery. You got the Lexus GX 460, Lexus LX 570, Lincoln MKT. I don't know. I'm not a car guy. Lincoln Navigator. Yeah, it's the big one. All of these got to be the big one. Mercedes-Benz G550, Mercedes-Benz G-Class, Mercedes-Benz GL 350, Mercedes-Benz Metris and Sprinter. That's why you see a lot of Mercedes Sprinter vans out there. Deduction. Nissan Armada, Nissan NV, Nissan NVP.
So
Nissan
I got
Titan.
one thing to say, because the list gonna go on, but what's important is that if you were to Google your car, make sure you say the gross vehicle weight. Only because you can have a car that's like 5,700 pounds. But once they take everything gross, all the finishings and this, that, and the third, that will put it over to 6,000 pounds. And so make sure you say gross vehicle weighting. So Google any car you're thinking about and just say gross vehicle weight. And then at that moment, that will give you the ability to know if it's over 6,000 because they take the gross. They take the gross.
Big facts. Only got a few more. Porsche Cayenne, Ram 1500 and up, Ram ProMaster, Tesla Model X.
Yeah.
Tesla was smart with that.
Not the Y, just the
Right.
X.
Toyota 4Runners, Toyota Land Cruisers, Toyota Sequoia, Toyota Tundra, and finally the Volkswagen Touareg Hybrid, right? So you heard it here, but you can also Google these things, right? You purchasing the truck anyway. You got a big family. You know what I'm saying? Can I be strategic about this? I think that this is the biggest thing with this show, and this is the cheat code here. How can you live your life but get a double added benefit for doing the things that you were already going to do anyway? My dream when it comes to building my empire, my dream when it comes to working, I do things that I would do for free, but I monetize them. I get paid to do things that I would be willing to do for free. Now, don't think you're going to take me in negotiations because we got plenty that we can do. But I don't do shit that I don't like to do. I'm past that stage. Same thing when it comes to these purchases, right? I purchase things that I can get a double added benefit for. That is the definition of an asset, right? I know there's different definitions and all that stuff. There's the Investopedia definition, but now it's how do you think of your life as an asset, right? Ross, we're going to go to dinner. We ain't got to go to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? It's Roof Chris, baby. It's Morton's. It's the local best steakhouse we can do.
Sizzler.
Going say no more. But how are we gonna get the double added benefit, right? And I think that that's the next step and next evolution for all of us when it comes to our money, right? You done got your money right. You done got your money tight. You done budgeted. You got your emergency fund. You done paid down debt. You've been investing. Well, okay, how do I take that next level step and get that double added benefit for doing things that I was going to do anyway? So with that being said, Ross Mack, you got anything else to add? I want to make sure you're good.
This another episode of Money Music Culture. You already know what to do. Make sure you like, subscribe, and press that share button. Share with your cousins, your auntie, your snotty nose nephew. Share with your hairdresser. Fellas, I know you're going bald, but share with your barber. And hey, and also share with your weed man. Let him know he also need a LLC because he might be able to write off some of that. Yeah, it is. Until next week, let's get it.